One of the things that I love about comics is that there's always a bumper crop of new titles coming out, so there's always something new you can jump into. So we've grabbed 3 new comic titles completely at random after careful consideration, so that we can show you 3 titles you can get into while they're still warm from the oven.
But don't put them in the oven.
No, that's an idiom.
Midnight Society, The Black Lake, is the somewhat top-heavy title of a new creator-owned miniseries published by Dark Horse. Drew Edward Johnson handles story and art, while Lizzie John contributes colours.
This first issue is split into 2 time periods, beginning in the past with 2 steampunkish adventurers searching for evidence of pixies, while the second half of the comic gets to the story proper and introduces our main character, Matilda Finn, a young woman on her way to investigate a disappearance in the infamous Loch Ness.
I want to say first that I think the artwork is excellent in this comic. The settings are great, the faces are expressive and individual, and John's colours are apt for every scene. As far as the story though, there are a few stumbles. Mostly I felt this was really heavy in exposition. I wanted to be shown a lot of this stuff, not told it.
Well, I didn't find that was so much of a problem myself, but there were certainly pacing issues. The first half for me was completely on point, just perfectly balanced. But then you get to the second half, where it's in the present day, and things pretty much slowed down to a crawl. Effectively, very little happens for the second half of this comic, apart from an unprompted flashback to Matilda's mysterious origins, and I was left without much impulse to continue. Which is a shame, considering how well it starts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a borrow.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a borrow as well. I'll probably revisit this series once all 4 issues are collected into a trade. I think it will read better that way. Next up, we have a title from the new DCU lineup, All-Star Section 8, written by Garth Ennis with art by John McCree.
Section 8 will be familiar to any fans of Ennis's cult series Hitman. They're a group of Z-list superheroes led by an alcoholic mess known as Six-Pack. Retired and on the wagon for years after his team was almost all killed, Six-Pack's alter ego Sidney Speck accidentally gets a taste of booze and launches straight back into slightly blurry action.
Six-Pack immediately starts putting together a new Section 8 to combat an unspecified threat, and well, there's honestly not much more to the plot than that. It's more of a humorous deconstruction of superhero stories rather than a story in itself, which is familiar ground for Ennis, but for me, it just felt a little weak. The final 6 pages, featuring Batman trying to get out of a parking ticket, was a particularly low note. I'm giving this one a berry.
It should be said that McCree packs a lot into the artwork. There are plenty of references and in-jokes for comic fans, particularly the homage to some of Batman's most recognisable poses. But in the end, this one left me cold as well. More than anything, looking at the Section 8 lineup, I just wish that Dial H never got cancelled.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one a berry.
Also, and this is more of a general gripe, 13 pages of adverts were peppered through this comic, most of them for other DC titles. Now, I'm sorry, but that's a trend that needs to stop.
It's pretty infuriating.
Yeah.
Now we come finally to a new title from Image. Starve is written by Brian Wood, with art by Danielle Jagel and colours by Dave Stewart. Set in a dystopian future where global warming has plunged America's coastal areas underwater and a market crash has plunged 99% of the population into poverty, one of the few businesses that has survived and even thrived is reality TV.
Wood brings his gift for character creation to bear with our hero Gavin Cruikshank, the creator of a cooking show called Starve, who has gone off the reservation for the last 3 years, vanishing into the sweltering slums of Southeast Asia. But Gavin's sabbatical is at an end, and the network want him back to finish his run on Starve. But it is not the same show he left behind.
No, it isn't. I agree with you about the character creation. Gavin is suitably rough around the edges for a TV chef, but with enough charm to keep you on his side. Every character, in fact, is sharply represented in the artwork as well as the dialogue. There's a really good creative team here.
Absolutely. Jagel's scratchy, messy style is perfect for this story, and Stewart knows just how to make the images pop with his choice of palette. I really enjoyed this comic and I'm giving it a buy.
Yeah, look, I'm going to agree with you once again. We don't really see where this story is ultimately going in this first issue, but there's such solid and succinct character development that it's a pleasure just getting to know the players. This is a strong start for an intriguing new series. I'm going to give it a buy as well.
Awesome, so that's just 3 of the new titles hitting the shelves. Let us know in the comments what upcoming series you're really interested in.